Good morning, everyone. Good morning. After a very long time back with yet another super amazing and a most requested live lecture for all my dear NEET 2021 aspirants. Yes, I hope the audio and video is perfectly fine and clear. I know there won't be anyone, but since I would be free right now and I have to go by 8:30, so I'll try to complete the chapter as soon as possible in just a small nutshell. And in order to clarify all your doubts and less clarity topics related with this chapter of evolution, class 12. So without wasting further time, let's get into the class on evolution, class 12. Okay, those who are watching the session right now, don't forget to hit the like button, do share the video to your friends and subscribe the amazing platform for more updates on biology. I hope the audio is perfectly fine and clear. Yes. This is an amazing Telegram group at t.me/neet underscore biopoint where daily session updates, regular discussion, polls and quizzes takes place. Let's get into the class. We will be doing the NCRT. I will be telling you the most important points which you have to study in order to score a good mark, or I will be focusing on those area or on those part of the chapter from which you are going to get a question for sure in your NEET 2021. Okay, generally the examiners will be following a pattern. In certain areas they will be concentrating more in asking the question, so we will be discussing those points which is related with already asked topic and which is expected to be asked in the upcoming NEET examination. Okay, we scheduled the live to be at 6:30, but we started at 6:40 because we were facing a small technical glitches over here, and I hope now everything is fine and clear. Yes, yes. So anyway, let's have to read the NCRT completely and fully without even leaving a single line. But I would be telling to you the important points, or I would be marking for you the important points which you have to be aware about while you are practicing your MCQs. Let's get into the class. Evolutionary biology is the study of history of life forms on Earth. So evolutionary biology is a study of history of life forms on Earth. What exactly is evolution? So in this chapter, we would be discussing about all the concept which is related with evolution. To understand the changes in the flora and fauna that have occurred over the millions of years on the earth, we must have an understanding of the context of origin of life. That is, origin of life was preceded by the origin of the atmosphere, origin of the universe, origin of the solar system, origin of the earth and the planet, origin of the sun, stars, moon, indeed the universe, everything. So evolution just not simply mark or just not simply apply to only human beings or only to living beings or something. The earth was created, first of all, a reduced atmosphere and a condition was created for the living organism to survive in that habitat. And finally only the humans, animals and all the living organisms were developed. Okay, done. Yes. So to understand the changes in the flora and fauna that have occurred over the millions of years on the earth, we must have an understanding of the context of origin of life, that is origin of earth, stars and indeed the universe also. What follows is the longest of the all construed and conjectured stories. This is the story of origin of life and evolution of life forms or biodiversity on the planet in the context of evolution on earth and against a background of evolution of universe itself. Done, everybody? So let's get into the origin of life. This is a question, this can be asked as a question if they are asking or making the paper really simple. Stellar distances are measured in light years. Stellar distances are measured in light year. Guys, in your physics also they can ask you a question. Light year is a unit of. Okay, light year is a unit of. After seeing year and all, you will go with time. Light year is actually a distance. What? It is a unit of distance. Okay, we don't have time to go with units and measurements. Come back to our chapter evolution. Okay, so stellar distances are measured in light years. What we see today is an object whose emitted light started its journey millions of years back and from trillions of kilometers away and reaching our eyes now. And guys, why most of you are feeling this chapter is very difficult is because this chapter's NCRT is not in a very orderly manner, just like the other chapters, like human health or microbes in human welfare. This chapter is not like that. This chapter is actually a mixture of different things. And between they'll introduce certain millions of years ago, trillions of years ago, Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, Cenozoic era. They'll introduce certain time periods as well in between. That makes difficulty in the chapter. So just study whichever points I am right now telling you to study, and I have gone through the past 10 or 12 years of paper, and we will be focusing on those areas where the question were repeatedly asked. Okay, there are a lot of things which are unnecessary in this chapter. So we should not, our view should not go towards that. This is our last minute preparation. So our focus should be only on the question based area. Done, everyone? Yes. The origin of life is considered as a unique event in the history of universe. The universe is vast. Relatively speaking, the earth itself is almost only a speck. The universe is very old. So what is the age of the universe? 20 billion years ago, guys. Take a paper, take down the short notes. This year is very important. The years that we are studying, these years won't be us, but there are years. When was the vertebrates originated? When was invertebrates originated? So all those years originated of species, origination of species is very important. Huge cluster of galaxies comprise the universe. Galaxies contain stars. One second. Yes. Galaxies contain the stars and clouds of gas and dust. Considering the size of the universe, Earth is indeed a speck. The Big Bang Theory you might have studied in your geography and all in your lower classes. It attempts to explain the origin of life. So which was the theory? Which was the first theory that was used to explain the origin of the universe? It was the Big Bang Theory. Okay, it talks about a singular huge explosion. So according to the Big Bang Theory, what happened? There was a huge explosion in the universe that leads to the formation of different materials and substances. Clear? Yes. Hydrogen and helium were formed later. The gases condensed under gravitation and formed the galaxies. In the present day, very important, the previous year question, Earth was originated about 4.5 billion years ago. Okay, previous year question. Question number 1, MCQ question number 1. The Earth was supposed to have been formed about 4.5 billion years back. There was no atmosphere on the early Earth. Statement based question. Water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, and ammonia. Guys, you have to check out this. Don't by heart that, just check out this. Water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, and ammonia were actually some of the things which were released from the molten mass. The same way, a scientist also conducted an experiment with the help of by inducing all these things in the laboratory under simulated condition. Okay, and guys, in the atmosphere, the UV radiation helps in the breaking down of water into hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, and since the hydrogen was the lighter gas, hydrogen as compared to oxygen is the lighter gas, it actually evolved, it escaped. Okay, but whereas oxygen combines with the ammonia and also with the methane to form water, carbon dioxide, and other molecular compounds. Okay, this is again a previous year question. Life appeared 500 million years ago. PYQ number 2. Okay, so guys, I will be telling you, guys, there was a Big Bang Theory, and according the first theory of evolution was the Big Bang Theory. According to the Big Bang Theory, what happened? There was a large explosion in the universe that leads to the formation of the sun, planet, stars, atmosphere, everything. Second one is that the earth was supposed to be originated about 4.5 billion years ago. 4.5 billion years ago. And there was no atmosphere. There were certain gases like methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and ammonia was there. Okay. Water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, and ammonia was there. That was released from the molten mass that covered the earth. And the ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun, it actually breaks the water molecule. It breaks the water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. As compared with the gases, hydrogen is a lighter gas, so it will directly escape. Whereas oxygen being heavier than hydrogen, what happens? It will not escape. It doesn't have the tendency to escape. It will retain, it will combine with ammonia to form carbon dioxide and water, along with methane also. Combine with ammonia to form methane. Sorry. Combine with ammonia to form water and methane to form carbon dioxide. And life appeared 500 million years ago. Did life come from outer space? Some scientists believe that it came from the outer space. Guys, according to the early Greek thinkers, what is thought that there were certain spores were actually originating in YouTube. There are so many videos regarding to this panspermia theory, theory of abiogenesis, biogenesis, everything. But right now, we don't have the time to go watch it in detail and enjoy the video. Right now, we have to focus on studies. Okay, so don't waste your time in going back to see panspermia theory, Big Bang theory, and all. Okay, after your September 12th, you can go watch a couple of videos and enjoy yourself. Done, everyone? Yes. So, according to the early Greek thinkers, what they actually did was, or they actually believed that the spore, there were certain spore-like structures that were floating inside the universe, and some of them fallen into this earth. Okay, actually, and from that spores actually life is originating. Do you believe, as being a biology student, do you believe that life originated from spores? No, not at all, right? So, according to the early Greek thinkers, they thought that the life originated from various kinds of spores. Okay, life originated from various kinds of spores and they were transferred to different planets, including the Earth. Panspermia. What is panspermia? It is still a favorite idea of some astronomers. For a long time, it was believed that life came out of dead and decaying organic and inorganic matter. Do you believe this? No, you won't believe this. Being a biology student, already completed the revision of the chapter, biology chapters of evolution. You have studied everything. A common person, a common man can understand, or a common person can understand that life will never originate from dead and decaying organic matter. Done? So, the early Greek thinkers thought that life originated from various kinds of spores that were passed on to the Earth and other planets. Panspermia theory tells that life originated from pre-existing, that is, life originated from the dead and rotting, decaying matter like straw, rotten food item, vegetable peel, all those things. This was the theory of spontaneous generation. This was the theory of spontaneous generation. So this theory of spontaneous generation, as I have already told you, a common man will understand that it is incorrect, or that theory was disproved by Louis Pasteur, and he demonstrated that life comes only from pre-existing life forms. Okay, Louis Pasteur disproved the theory of spontaneous generation, and he demonstrated that life comes from pre-existing life forms. PYQ. Okay, Louis Pasteur told that life comes only from pre-existing life forms. He done the swan neck experiments and all. Okay, yes, he showed that in pre-sterilized flask, life did not come from killed yeast, while in another flask open to air, new living organism arose from the killed yeast. Okay, so guys, he took two vessels. This is not the actual experiment. Actual experiment was conducted in different beakers and materials and everything. Guys, just check it out. Just to make a clear idea about that, he kept a rotten piece of meat. Okay, he kept a rotten piece of meat, or he kept killed yeast. You can either take killed yeast as well. Okay, rotten piece of meat. And what he did was he covered that beaker. Okay, he covered that. In the other vessel or in the other beaker, he just kept a piece of meat opened. He kept it opened. And what happened is, like, inside the first beaker or beaker number one, there was no formation of any kind of living organisms. But in the beaker two, there was flies, then different ants and other variety of organisms, microorganisms was also there. So he concluded that theory of spontaneous generation or theory of abiogenesis is not correct. He observed that life comes from pre-existing life forms. So the theory of spontaneous generation was immediately dismissed, and this did not answer how the first form of life came on the earth. Now come the scientists from Russia and England, that is Oparin and Haldane. They proposed that the first form of life could have come from the pre-existing non-living organic molecule. So as we have already told you that Louis Pasteur's experiment did not told us or did not explain to us how the first form of life originated on the earth. So, to the solution for the Louis Pasteur's limitation, Oparin of Russia and Haldane of England came with yet another experiment and demonstrated that life originated definitely from the pre-existing life forms, but it originated from pre-existing non-living organic molecules such as RNA and protein. Okay, done everybody? Since Louis Pasteur's experiment did not give us a clear idea about where life originated of, which was the first form of life, Oparin of Russia and Haldane of England, you have to study these countries as well. These places as well is very important. Oparin of Russia and Haldane of England, they proposed that life originated from organic molecules, that the formation of life was preceded by chemical evolution, that is formation of diverse organic molecule from inorganic constituent. Okay, and the conditions that he introduced were high temperature, volcanic storms, reducing atmosphere, and a medium containing methane and ammonia. That was the end of one experiment by Oparin and Haldane. As a support to the theory of chemical evolution or support to the theory of Oparin and Haldane, in 1953, another scientist, S.L. Miller, who was an American scientist, created a similar conditions in the laboratory. He took an electric discharge. This diagram is there in the NCERT, so please pay attention towards that. That can be a diagram based question for your exam. He created an electric discharge in a flask containing methane, hydrogen, ammonia, and water vapor at 800 degrees Celsius. This is very important, and this was the previous year question for NEET 2019. Not 2019, NEET 2020. MCQ or previous year question number 4. NEET 2020 question. What was the definite conditions inside the laboratory of S.L. Miller? What was it? It was methane, water vapor, ammonia, and hydrogen. Methane, hydrogen, ammonia, and water vapor at 800 degrees Celsius. There were two options similar containing methane, ammonia, hydrogen, and water vapor. 600 degrees Celsius or 800 degrees Celsius caused a confusion among many of the students since they did not pay attention towards this temperature and all. But NTA will be focusing on each and every minute things as well. And what did S.L. Miller observed? He observed the formation of amino acid, sugar, nitrogen bases, pigments and fats, etc. Okay. The first non-cellular form of life could have originated. The first non-cellular form of life was originated about 3 billion years ago. Okay, the first non-cellular form of life was originated 3 billion years ago, guys. Just study it along with me so that after this class you can directly move on to the questions only. That is why I'm repeating the points just like a student. I'm repeating the point again and again and again. Okay, I'm keeping on repeating the points again and again and again in order to make a clear idea, in order to make you understand that how questions can be framed from each and every part. Okay, okay guys, 1 second. Just revise what is there on the screen. Okay, clear? Yes. So the experiment was very important. What all the components that he used: methane, hydrogen, ammonia, and water vapor. And water vapor. Clear, everybody? So he used various components like these, and what did he set up a temperature at 800 degrees Celsius. So this was a diagrammatic representation of S.L. Miller's experiment. He used two electrodes, and instead of the ultraviolet radiation and all, he used a spark discharge and used the gases like ammonia, methane, water vapor, and hydrogen. And he used a condenser and a water droplets. This is the area from where the water goes out, and this is the area where water is taken in. Clear? Boiling water is over here. So this was a small experimental setup by S.L. Miller. So the first cellular form of life did not possibly originate till about 2000 million years ago. These were probably single cell. All life forms were in water environments only. This version of biogenesis, that is the first form of life, arose slowly through evolutionary forces from non-living molecule, is accepted by a majority of people. However, once formed, how the first cellular forms of life have evolved into the complex biodiversity of today is a fascinating story. Okay, so guys, I will be taking a blank slide in order to explain to you. Okay, I'll be taking a blank slide in order to explain to you a small trick about the different years that we have studied till now. That is, listen very carefully, that is the origin of the universe. Origin of universe. When was the universe originated? Universe was originated 20 billion years ago. 20 billion years ago. When was the earth originated? The earth was originated 4.5 billion years ago. Okay. When was the first life originated on the earth? First life originated on the earth 4 billion years ago. 4 billion years ago. First non-cellular life forms originated. First non-cellular life form. First non-cellular life form originated 3 billion years ago. Okay, 3 billion years ago. And origin of the first cellular life form. Origin of the first cellular life form originated 2 billion years ago. So this is a very important slide. In order to bring to you the mixed concept in the NCERT in a single slide, I have included this. You can write it down. So origin of the universe 20 billion years ago. Earth was originated 4.5 billion years ago. The first life form was originated 4 billion years ago. The first non-cellular life form was originated 3 billion years ago, and the cellular life form was originated 2 billion years ago. Clear, everyone? Yes. Evolution of life forms, a theory. Conventional religious literature tells us about the theory of special creation. This theory has three connotations. One, according to all our mythologies, every traditional mythology, God have created. We also believe that there is a life creator, there is a person who makes or survives our life, and there is a person or a God that destroys our life. Okay, that was actually in certain conventional people or conventional areas, we will believe in this theory of special creation. Okay, yes, once that all living organisms that we see today were created as such. The earth is about 4,000 years old. All these ideas were strongly challenged during the 19th century based on the observation made during a sea voyage in a ship called HMS Beagle. At the instant when you hear the name of the ship HMS Beagle, the name of a person comes to your mind. Which is that person? Charles Darwin. Okay, Charles Darwin. He concluded that the existing living forms share similarity. Existing living forms share similarity to various degrees, and not only among themselves but also with the life forms that existed millions of years ago. Clear? The existing life forms share similarities to various degrees, not only among themselves but also with the life forms that existed millions of years ago. So that was actually challenging, that made all the theory challenging. Okay. So HMS Beagle voyage of Charles Darwin into the Galapagos Island, where he found Darwin finches, different birds and animals that share a common feature but different habitats and functions they are performing. Okay, yes, these characteristics which enable them to survive. So guys, he just concluded that a living organism gets adapted, or living organism is created in such a way that where he is actually living or in which habitat is he living. Okay, so God have created humans in this kind of a environment or a habitat. The same God, yes, we should not just believe just, yes, I'm just telling a idea about that. Okay, I'm just telling an idea about that. So he might have created, or life must have originated over here in polar regions, in different regions, in forest. On the other hand, just think of a condition: the human beings are created on the polar region, penguins and all are created on the Rajasthan deserts and all, and the forest animals on the aquatic, and the aquatic animals on the forest. Just understand the situation. So according to the Charles Darwin's experiment, he also concluded that each organism is created in such a way that it is getting adapted to the natural habitat based on the natural conditions like climate, food, and physical factors. According to Darwin, Darwin used the word fitness of the individual. Okay, Darwin told that life is created as per the fitness. Okay, the organism survived in an environment based on their physical, that is based on their fitness. Actually, according to Darwin, the fitness actually refers only to reproductive fitness. That is very important. Previous year question number 5. What is actually fitness according to Darwin? It was a previous year Ames question. What is fitness according to Darwin? Reproductive fitness, physiological fitness, psychological fitness, mental fitness. Which is the answer? Reproductive fitness. So those organisms which are more better fixed in the environment will survive more. You also think we cannot just go into the polar region, survive over there for a long time. So we have a natural habitat, and we are created in such a form to live in a moderate habitat. So if we can survive only in an area if we are reproductively fitting to that place. He called this particular as the natural selection, right? He called it as a selection by the nature or the natural selection, and implied it as a mechanism of evolution. So let us also remember one of the other scientists, Alfred Wallace. Alfred Wallace, which is again a previous year question, who worked in Malaya archipelago, had also come to a similar conclusion around the same time. Okay, all existing life forms share similarities and share a common ancestor. Clear? Clear? So Darwin, who had done his experiments while in his voyage, accidental discovery in biology, almost all the discovery were accidental. If the scientist was going behind one thing, he came to a conclusion with the discovery of some other important discovery. Right? That was actually the importance of various experiments. Okay, even the penicillin was discovered like that. We studied in the chapter microbes in human welfare, right, everyone? So they actually worked on some other organism and he finally found out the Penicillium notatum. Yes. So similarly, according to Darwin, natural selection was the key feature of evolution and it refers to reproductive fitness. And nature actually select the most ideal or most suitable living organism, the most suitable organism that is capable of living in a particular habitat. Done. Yes. So similarly, Alfred Wallace, who was a naturalist, he also worked in Malay archipelago. Okay, and he also came to the similar conclusion that all the existing life form share similarities and share common ancestors. Paleontology. What is paleontology? Study of fossils. Paleontology. Okay, study of fossil is paleontology. So he again we have first of all in a bare area there was heavy rain, the rock was broken down to form the soil. From the soil, small organisms were evolved till it reaches a climax community. We have studied evolution or in the chapter ecosystem, the serial communities, how a pioneer species will be changing into a climax community and all, right? Yes. So similarly, the study of fossils in different sedimentary layers indicates the geological period in which they existed. This is how, by checking into the bones, skeletons of the dinosaurs and various animals, we concludes that this is an animal which lived 200 billion years ago, 8 billion years ago, 50 billion years ago, a million years ago, whatever. In your news and all recently also you will have, you might have seen certain things like this. In the museums and all, if you have been once visiting the museum and all, there also you might have seen below the skeletons, stuffed animals and everything, or insects or everything, they'll be pinning and fixing over there. That is what they'll be telling, that this is an animal or this is an organism that existed this much million years ago, this much years ago or something, right? So exactly like that, by studying the fossil we will be able to know that in which geological time period they existed. Clear? Yes. This is again important. Carl Ernest von Baer, he proposed the embryological support of evolution. First of all, the embryological support of evolution was proposed by Ernest Haeckel, but more clarity if this question comes for your exam. This was again a NEET 2020 previous year question. Okay, this is again a NEET 2020 PYQ question. Okay, NEET 2020 PYQ question. So embryological support was also proposed by Ernest Haeckel, but disproved, and careful study performed by the Carl Ernest von Baer noted that embryos never pass through the adult stages of other animals. Done? Is that clear? Yes. Now we are moving on to a very important slide from which a question for NEET 2021 I am giving you 500% guarantee. Homologous divergent evolution, analogous convergent evolution, and adaptive radiation. 500% I can give you guarantee. One question would definitely come from the next two slides. Just focus on the next two slides. You will get to know the answer for the question that is going to be asked in NEET 2021 on September 12th from this chapter of evolution. Okay, so the first one is, I'll tell you about that and then we will come back. Okay, and then we will come back. Listen very carefully over here. Okay, listen very carefully. Guys, there are two types of organs. We can classify the organs into two types: homologous organ and analogous organ. homologous organ and analogous organ. Clear? So I hope all of you know what is homology and analogous, right? But just for those people who doesn't know this chapter, I'm telling this once again. What is meant by a homologous organ and what is meant by a analogous organ? Guys, homologous organ means the organs that share or those structures that share a common origin. So their origin or ancestry would be the same or their anatomy would be the same, but they will show different function. Okay, they will share a common origin, but they will show different function. So common origin, different function. So analogy refers to the opposite of the same. What is analogy? They share a common function. They share a common function, but they share different origin. Their origin is different, but they share a common origin. Sorry. Homologous structures means what? Common origin, different function. Analogous organ means different origin, common or the same function. Next, I would like to tell you, take a screenshot of the slide as well. I'll tell you some of the examples of the same. Forelimbs of different animals like cheetah. This is an example given in your textbook. Forelimbs. Okay, forelimbs of cheetah, bats, whale, humans, etc. All mammals share a common anatomical features, but they perform different function. In case of humans, the hands are used for eating, running, not running, okay. Legs are used for running, hands are used for eating, writing, everything, right? Take a material or something. We use hands for that, legs for walking, running, jumping, all those things. But in case of animals, both the forelimbs, all the forelimbs and the hind limbs are used for what? What? The forelimbs are also used for running, walking, etc. Clear? So forelimbs of different animals. Vertebrate heart. Heart of vertebrates. Heart of vertebrate. Brain of vertebrates. They all have a common origin, but they perform different function. These are in case of animals. When it comes to case of plants, you will see thorns of bougainvillea. Thorns of bougainvillea and what? Tendrils of cucurbita. Tendrils of cucurbita. Clear, everybody? So these are some of the examples for the homologous organ. And homologous organ is actually originating from a particular type of evolution that is referred to as the divergent evolution. Okay, homologous structures are formed as a result of divergent evolution, whereas analogous structures are formed as a result of convergent evolution. And let's check out some of the examples of the analogous structure, that is wings of butterfly. Wings of butterfly and birds. They have a common function, that is flying, but their anatomy is different. Wings of butterfly and birds. Second example which I would like to tell you is the eye of octopus. All these are given in the NCERT. Eye of octopus and mammals. Then what are some of the other examples? Flipper of penguin and dolphin. Flipper of penguin and dolphin. Walking, right? But anatomically different. Sweet potato, modification of the root. Potato, stem modification. Function, storage, but anatomically stem and root. Clear? Yes. Let's come back and discuss this in detail. For example, the forelimbs of whales, bat, cheetah, and humans, that is all mammals, have similarities in the bone pattern. Okay, these forelimbs perform different functions, but they are anatomically similar. That is, they have all the bones, like humerus is there, radius is there, ulna, carpal, metacarpal, phalanges are there. In case of all forelimbs of whales, bat, cheetah, and everything. But they're anatomically they are same, but functionally they are different. So these animals are said to be originated by an evolution known as divergent evolution. And these structures that perform a different function with anatomically similar origin are referred to as homologous structure. So those structures that show anatomically similar property, or they are anatomically similar but structurally they are anatomically and structurally, that is similar but functionally different. So homologous, divergent, functionally different, anatomically similar. Homology indicates common ancestry. Forelimbs of all mammals and cheetah, bats, whale, etc. Vertebrates heart, vertebrate brain in case of animals. In case of plants, you will see what? In case of plants, you will see thorns of bougainvillea and tendrils of cucurbita. Homology is based on the divergent evolution, whereas analogy is the exact opposite. That is common function, different origin. For example, guys, eye of octopus and eye of mammal, both the eyes are used for what? For seeing, for sight, but they are anatomically different, or their origin is different. Just like that, flippers, just imagine the example of sweet potato and potato. They are analogous, convergent evolution. So what happens? Potato is a stem, root, a sweet potato is a root. Their similar function is what? Food storage, but they are anatomically stem and root. Clear? So examples are the wings of butterfly and birds. Everything from this area is a previous year question. They are not anatomically similar, but they perform similar function. They are actually as a result of convergent evolution, different structure evolving for the same function. Another example is the eye of octopus and mammal, or the flipper of penguin and dolphin. Another example, as I've already told you, sweet potato is a root modification. Potato is a stem modification is an example. Guys, all the bonds are similar. So this is also an example for what? Homology. What is homology? Divergent evolution. Don't get confused. Which is divergent, which is convergent. Homology is divergent. Look, thorns of bougainvillea, stem modification, tendrils of cucurbita. In the chapter morphology, I have studied tendrils of cucurbita, thorns of bougainvillea. They both are stem modification, so they are anatomically same. But one performs thorn-like function, other tendril for climbing, thorn for defense. So different functions, similar origin, homology, divergent evolution. Clear? Yes. So in the same line, similarities in proteins and gene performing a given function. These biochemical similarities point to the same shared ancestry. Man has bred selected plants and animals for agriculture, horticulture, sport, or security. Clear? Clear, everyone? Yes? Yes. So another interesting observation, the next point that we have to study is the melanism. Okay. Industrial melanism. I hope you know what is industrial melanism. I'll give you a short brief idea about that. What is industrial melanism? That is, one second. Yes. Guys, during, that is in the 1850s, that is before industrialization. Before industrialization, actually in England, on the tree trunks, there are two types of moth. Dark winged moth are there and white winged moth are there. Dark winged and white winged. Just imagine the condition. In a tree, you are pasting a white dot or a white color. You're splashing out a white color on a tree trunk. It is easily observable, right? But in case in England and all, what you can see is that the tree trunks, that is before industries have come, before human habitation have happened in England, the tree trunks were occupied with the organisms referred to as lichen. And we have already learned in the chapter biological classification and all, lichens are pollution indicators. Lichens are pollution indicators and they will never grow in the regions where pollution happens. Okay, so guys, before the industrialization, that is before the process of industrialization happened in England, the tree trunks were covered with the help of lichens. So that the tree trunk appears to be white. Okay, a grayish white in color. Clear. So at that time, when just imagine in a white color, you splash again the white color. There won't be just tremendously, we won't be able to distinguish between the tree trunk and the white spot or the white paint, right? So during the 1850s or before industrialization, the same concept happened. That is, the white-winged moth were common. The white-winged, the population of the white-winged moth were common because the predators were not able to find them. Okay, they used to hide themselves in the tree trunks which are covered with the white lichens. Clear? Just imagine chameleon and all, they'll change their own color. Camouflaging property, this is also a camouflage. It's not a camouflaging, the same organism is not, but it is similar to that. Okay, chameleon and all, they'll happen is like what, they'll change its color respectively in order to protect or what, stay away from their predators, stay away from others, right, in order to make people unnoticed of them sitting over there or placed over there, right? So similarly, what happens during the 1850s, the tree trunks were white. So white moth were what? They were not noticed by the predator. So the population of the white-winged moth were high and black-winged moth or the dark-winged moth were low. Since the dark-winged moth can be easily noticed in the white tree trunks, so they are easily taken away by the predators. But the same condition, that is after 1920s, what is after 1920s? That is after industrialization. The lichens were evolved. That is, the lichens were extinct over there. The lichens were washed out because the pollution were there. So lichens cannot survive in a polluted environment. So after human habitation, pollution rate was increased. So lichens were not able to stay over there. So lichens were wiped out. So the tree trunk stayed brown or dark in color. So the predators could easily spot out the white-winged moth. So after industrialization, there is a tremendous decrease in the number of white-winged moth. Clear? So come back to the chapter. Natural evolution, natural selection comes from England. It is a collection of moth. In 1850s, that is before industrialization, it was observed that more white-winged moth on trees than the dark-winged or melanized moth. However, the same collection which was carried from the same area after 1920, after industrialization, there were more dark-winged moth in the same area. That is, a proportion was reversed. Look, in this, look, in an unpolluted area, so the tree trunks were covered with lichen. So the white moth, here you can notice that because I've changed the clarity of the image, that's the reason. So this, as compared, it's unnoticed. But here this is very prominent, right? This is very prominent. So this is easily taken away by the predators. So this is an example for melanism, industrial melanism. Clear? The explanation put forth for that observation that predators will spot a moth against a contrasting background. So guys, just imagine. Just imagine. I don't know how much does it work. Okay. Just in order to, there will be somebody, yes. There will be somebody who have certain doubt in this. So guys, just imagine this is a black background. Okay, this is a white background and you are posting a white. Can you easily notice this white? Can you easily notice this white color? So this is easily spotted. Okay, this is easily spotted. Okay, this is easily spotted and it is taken away by the predators. Okay, clear everybody? So during the post-industrialization period, the tree trunks become dark due to industrial smoke and soot. Under this condition, the white-winged moth did not survive due to the predators. Dark-winged or melanized moth survived. Before industrialization, thick growth of almost white-colored lichen covered the tree surface. Okay, guys, this is a white background, right? So I'm spotting even it with a red or even it black, it is easily spotted. Okay, so they will not, the lichens will never grow in polluted areas. So the moth were able to camouflage themselves. Clear? So before industrialization and after industrialization, the population of white-winged moth and dark-winged or melanized moth gets reversed. Similarly, anthropogenic action or anthropogenic evolution. What is anthropogenic? Man-made evolution. That is, guys, in your childhood and all, when you applied pesticides or insecticides like DDT, herbicides and all, what happens? Ants will never come back. When you apply certain mosquito repellents and all, also mosquitoes will never come. But what's the case right now? Even if you burn mosquito repellents, even if you spray mosquito repellents, even if you apply DDT also, what happens? Nothing will happen to this organism. Why? Because it is due to the anthropogenic evolution. That is, these organisms have got an ability to naturally, the nature have given them or nature has selected naturally, the evolution have happened in these animals. Excess use of herbicides and pesticides has only resulted in selection of resistant varieties. So as their body also secretes or their body also synthesis, this is used for killing us. So we have to be resistant. So they produce separate substances that by which they can take resistance against them, right? Yes. Microbes also, antibiotic or drugs against a eukaryotic organism. Guys, if there is a small fever, we take medicine. If the same fever comes again, we'll take medicine. So every week, the same fever will come again. What happens? Microbe will come again, we'll take the same. At last, what happens? After taking that medicine also, there won't be any effect for the microbe. The microbe will come again and again and again, just like they're coming to some relatives' home, they'll come every week. And the antibiotics that we take also will never satisfy. Clear? So this is an example for the anthropogenic action. This is again a question, that is the adaptive radiation. Okay. During his journey, Darwin went to Galapagos Island. There he observed small birds such as Darwin finches. Clear? Yes. So this is the variety of beaks of Darwin finches. Yes, let's anyway check into that. The process of evolution of different species in a given geographical area, starting from a point and literally radiating to other areas of geography, are referred to as adaptive radiation. Clear? So the process of evolution of different species in a given geographical area, starting from a point and literally radiating towards the other parts of the geography, is referred to as the adaptive radiation. Clear? Darwin finches is an example. Darwin finches and Australian marsupials is an example for adaptive radiation. So the examples are very important. Darwin finches and Australian marsupials. In exam, they can ask you Australian marsupials an example of. It is adaptive radiation. Okay. Is that clear? When more than one adaptive radiation appear to have occurred in a geographical area, it refers to the formation of what? Convergent evolution. More than one adaptive radiation occurs, it refers to the formation of a convergent evolution. Look everyone, marsupials in Australia have radiated. So this is an example for an adaptive radiation of marsupials. Tasmanian wolf, tiger cat, banded anteater, marsupial rat, kangaroo, wombat, bandicoot, koala, marsupial mole, sugar glider. These are different. No need to by heart all these things. Just you have to study a table is given there. I was not able to include that as a single slide over here. I forgot to include. So I'll tell you the page number in which it was there. So you can refer that and study. Figure 7.7 of evolution, page number 134. Page number 134 of evolution, you had a figure, a comparison between the marsupials and placental and non-placental mammals. So you have to study that table. They can ask you a match the following question for sure this year. Okay. Placental mammals in Australia also exhibit adaptive radiation. Okay. For example, placental wolf and Tasmanian wolf marsupial. Yes. Figure 7.7, page number 134. Evolution by natural selection in a true sense would have started when the cellular form of life with differences in the metabolic capability have originated on the earth. The essence, very important question. Guys, we are expecting 3 questions from this chapter this year. 3 questions from this chapter this year. I don't know how much question, but as per my expectation, you can expect 3 questions. That is, one will be from the years, era and all. Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, for arranging them or whatever, they can be a question. Second question would be from homology or analogy. This part is definite. Homology or analogy. This part is what? Specific. Definitely question will come. And the other part I will come is like the human evolution. Human evolution and other theories of, here theories of evolution can also come. Clear? So the essence of Darwinian theory is the natural selection. So natural selection was the essence of whose theory of evolution? Darwinian theory of evolution. Clear? Is that clear for everybody? So according to Darwin, which organism fitted reproductively fitting organism only get selected by the nature for an environment. Adaptive ability is inherited. It has a genetic basis. Fitness, that is reproductive fitness, is the end of the ability to get adapted and selected by the nature. This is a question for 2020 NEET examination. Branching descent and natural selection by Hugo de Vries. Branching descent and natural selection are the 2 concepts of Darwinian theory of evolution. Which are they? Branching descent and natural selection. This is AIPMT 2015 question as well. Okay, AIPMT 2015 question as well. The 2 concepts of Darwinian theory of evolution are branching descent and natural selection. Before Darwin, a French naturalist, Lamarck, had said that evolution of life forms had originated by the driven by the use and disuse theory. PYQ question. AFMC 2004. Okay, the answer was Lamarck over there. Okay, name a French naturalist who even before Darwin proposed that life forms had occurred by the theory of use and disuse. It is Lamarck, French naturalist. He gave the examples of giraffe. Giraffe examples will never be asked for the exam, but I'll just tell you in order to make you understand about that. Just like, guys, giraffe were actually just like our normal goats, cow and all. Okay. It was just like a small organism. It just feed on the grasses which were on the ground. And finally what happened? The population of giraffes increased and the grass and all the tree, that is shrubs and herbs, that is all the small creepers got over. And what happens? They started extending their neck and they started eating the herbs. Okay, when the herbs were over, they extended again their heads and started eating the shrubs. And finally, when all the shrubs around them was also over, they started extending very hardly. They started extending their neck and they started eating the trees, the leaves of the trees. So as a result, as the evolution happened, what happened? The neck of the giraffe elongated from one generation to the other, and finally giraffe appeared to be in this common way as how we are seeing the giraffe right now. So Lamarck proposed a use and disuse theory. If we are keeping an organ not used for many years, it will naturally get eliminated. For example, the tailbone. The tailbone was of no use. So without any use, what happened? The tailbone gradually got got disuse. By the disuse, what happened? They got removed or eliminated. Vestigial organs. Example, since we are always, the eyes of human beings, since they are always in use, they are again used and used again, so they are naturally selected and passed on from one generation to the other. If the eyes were of no use, if we are always closing our eyes and we also don't know what was the use of the eye and all, what happens? By generation after generation, what happens? It also gets removed or eliminated. That feature of the eyes would get eliminated. Clear, everybody? So according to Darwin, natural selection and branching descent are the two key concepts of Darwinian theory of evolution. Clear? Yes. Yes, everyone? There is nothing in this slide. Okay, there is nothing in this slide to learn. Yes, let's come back to this mechanism of evolution by... So what is actually the mechanism of evolution? Yes, Hugo de Vries, another scientist have come. That is another biologist have come. Hugo de Vries. He done his experiment in the evening primrose. He done his experiment in the evening primrose. Hugo de Vries, he done his evening primrose. He brought the idea about mutation, that is large differences arising suddenly in a population. Large differences arising suddenly in a population. Hugo de Vries walked on the plant, evening primrose. All these are previous question. Hugo de Vries walked on evening primrose. Mutation, that is large differences happening in a population. Mutations are random and directionless. According to Hugo de Vries concept, mutations are random and directionless. Randomly they are happening and without in any specificity they are happening. Directionless, random they are happening. Whereas when we studied about the Darwinian variation, he have told that the mutation or the variations were small and directional. So according to Darwin, mutation or variations were small and directional. Whereas according to Hugo de Vries, what happens? Mutations are random and directionless. Random means at a very fast rate the mutations are happening. So evolution for Darwin was gradual. Small and directional. Small, directional, gradual. Whereas for Hugo de Vries, it caused speciation. Single step larger mutation referred to as saltation. This can be a question for this year. According to Hugo de Vries, mutation were dash and dash. Mutation were directionless and random. Saltation, single step mutation. According to Darwin, small, directional and gradual. Clear? Yes, next is a Hardy-Weinsberg principle. Just pay a small attention towards it. No need to go behind numerical problems and all. Just in 2016 or something, I have seen a question from this. A problem about the locus of allele A and allele small a and all. But there are no chances of this kind of question repeated for this year. Definitely we'll do problems in the next class, okay, related with this. So Hardy-Weinberg principle. So Hardy-Weinberg principle. In a given population, we can find out the frequency of the occurrence of allele of a gene or a locus. This frequency is remained fixed. Okay. According to the Hardy-Weinsberg principle, the allelic frequency in a population are stable and is constant from one generation to the other. Constant from one generation to the other. Population are stable and are constant from one generation to the other. That is, the gene pool or the total genes and their alleles in a population remains as a constant. This is referred to as equilibrium, genetic equilibrium. Sum total of all the allelic frequencies referred to as 1. Sum total of all the allelic frequencies, suppose P. So the equation is P square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. Hardy-Weinsberg equilibrium. The sum total of all the alleles in a population sums up to a total of 1 or remains as a constant. Clear? Clear, everybody? Just study this graph. Just you must study this graph. This is the graph for stabilizing. Stabilizing. The peak gets higher and narrower. This is the graph for directional. Directional, that is towards shifted towards one direction. Actually, this was the graph, right? So it shifted towards one direction. So shift in one direction. Since two peaks are formed, you can call them as disruptive. This can be easily identified. This is difficult. Okay, so be careful about it. So guys, there are two alleles P and Q. In a diploid, P and Q represents the allele frequency of A and allele A. The frequency of AA, that is frequency of capital A is represented as P square. You just study P square plus 2PQ plus Q square is equal to 1. Where P square is the allelic frequency of capital A, P square, capital A, 2PQ, capital A, small a, Q square is small a. Just understand that. Clear? P square plus 2PQ plus Q square is equal to 1. It is a binomial expansion of P plus Q the whole square. Disturbance in the genetic equilibrium or the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, that is change in the frequency of alleles, result in evolution. If the genetic equilibrium is altered, if the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is affected, when is Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium affected? When there is a change in the frequency. So when there is a change in the frequency of an allele, what happens? It results in evolution. 5 factors are known to affect the Hardy-Weinsberg equilibrium: gene migration or gene flow, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination, and natural selection. Which are they? Gene migration, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination, and natural selection. Genetic migration or gene flow, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination, and natural selection. Clear, everyone? Clear? Is that clear for everybody? Yes. Perfecto. So from Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, the most important points which you have to study is few things that I will tell you again. Yes, one second, let me change the color. Yes, you have to study that the gene pool, that is the allelic frequency in a population, will remain as a constant. This is called genetic equilibrium. So every ecosystem, a genetic equilibrium is maintained, and the sum total of allelic frequency is 1. The sum total of all the allelic frequencies is referred to as 1. So 3: stabilizing, directional, and disruptive. You have to study this equation: P square plus 2PQ plus Q square is equal to 1. And disturbance in genetic equilibrium or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium or change in the frequency of the allele would result in evolution. 5 factors would lead to what? Affect Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Which are the 5 factors that are going to affect? Gene migration or gene flow, gene migration or gene flow, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination, and natural selection. Clear, everyone? Yes. Clear? Now is the audio clear? Yes. Original drifted population. Am I clearly visible and audible to everybody? Am I perfect? Yes, we have 6 more slides left out. So, guys, let's continue. Okay. So, it is heavily raining. Rain is heavy over here. Yes. I hope you all can hear me. Yes. There would be a gene flow if this gene migration happens multiple times. If gene migration happens multiple times, okay, if migration of genes happen multiple times, then you will call such a process as the genetic drift. You will call such a process as the genetic drift. Okay, clear everybody? Natural selection is the process in which heritable variation enabling better survival are enabled to reproduce and leave greater number of progeny. Hope up to here it's perfectly fine and clear. So, natural selection can lead to stabilization. What is stabilization? More individuals acquire mean character value. Important. Stabilization. More individuals attain the mean character value. That is in the peak. Okay. Stabilization. More individuals attain the peak value. That is a mean character. Mean stabilizing character. Next is a directional change. What is directional? More individuals acquire value other than the mean character value. That is, the graph will shift to one direction. Whereas disruption means more than one curve are formed. More individuals acquire peripheral character value at both the ends of the distribution curve. We have studied, right? Disruptive, stabilization, directional. Okay, clear? Yes. This is again important. About 2000 million years ago, the first cellular life forms originated. About 2000 million years ago, the first cellular forms originated. Guys, this graph is important. No need to study anything over here. Just study. There are mainly three era, that is Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, and Cenozoic era. Okay, Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, and Cenozoic era, and just study these: Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, Permian, Triassic, Jurassic. Okay, just study all these things. You have to study where does Jurassic era comes under. Jurassic era comes under the Mesozoic era. The previous year, this was the previous year AFMC question. AFMC 2005 or 4. I'm not remember. I didn't got the year correctly. I forgot the year. Previous year question. Okay, they asked you to identify. They asked you to arrange the Paleozoic era, the periods of the Paleozoic era in the correct order: Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous and Permian. Clear? No need to move here. Okay, that will create confusion. Just study these years, not this years. Just study these things. That is Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, Permian, Jurassic, and all will be asked. Okay, Cretaceous, all those things can be asked for the exam. Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. Clear, everybody? Yes. This is the next area which I'm expecting a question. By the time 500 million years ago, invertebrates were originated. So before 500 million years ago, invertebrates were originated. Jawless fishes originated around 350 million years ago. Seaweeds and few plants originated 320 million years ago. Just study and learn it along with me. Invertebrates 350 million years ago. Sorry, invertebrates 500 million years ago. Jawless fishes 350 million years ago, 350 million years ago, and seaweeds and few plants probably exited, that is probably evolved 320 million years ago. Invertebrates, tell along with me, invertebrates 500 million years ago, jawless fishes 350 million years ago, seaweeds and few plants 320 million years ago. Fish with stout and strong fins 350 million years ago. So 350 million years ago, jawless fishes were evolved. Fishes with stout and strong fins were evolved. In 1938, a fish caught in South Africa, Silusan, which was thought to be extinct, they are called lobe fins, evolved into the first amphibian. Silusan was the first amphibians that lived on both lands and water. First amphibian. Clear? There are no specimens of these left with us. The amphibians evolved into reptiles. They lay thick shelled egg which do not dry up in the sun. Clear? Land reptiles went back into water to evolve to fish-like reptiles probably 200 million years ago, that is Ichthyosaurus. Later they are called as a dinosaurs. Okay, so guys, first link, that is a reptile like, that is the first amphibian like animal, Silusan. Although no specimens of that were available, they were originated in they were actually later converted into amphibians, were later converted into reptiles. The egg which were the reptiles was laying did not dry up in the sun. They were very hard, and as a result, finally back the reptiles went back into water, and they leads to the formation of fish-like animals. That is Ichthyosaurus, dinosaurs. The biggest dinosaur is the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which was 20 feet in height, huge, fearsome dagger-like teeth. About 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs were disappeared. Clear? Is that clear for everybody? The first mammals originated was shrews. Okay, the first mammal that was originated was the shrew. Clear? Due to the continental drift, when South America joined North America, these animals were overridden by the North American fauna. Due to the same continental drift, pouched animals of Australia survived without competition. Clear? Is the topics up to here perfectly clear and fine for everybody? Is the topics up to here perfectly fine and clear for everybody? So origin and evolution of man. Origin and evolution of man. So listen very carefully. Okay, listen very carefully. About 15 million years ago, primates like Dryopterus and Dramapithecus, Dryopterus is, sorry. Okay, come back. 15 million years ago, Dryopithecus and Dramapithecus were existing. They were hairy, walked like gorillas and chimpanzee. Ramapithecus was more man-like. So Dryopithecus or Ramapithecus, which was more man-like and which was ape-like? Ramapithecus was more man-like and Dryopithecus was more ape-like. Dryopithecus was ape-like and Ramapithecus was man-like. So first it was Dryopithecus, then it was Ramapithecus 15 million years ago. few fossils of man-like bones have been discovered in Ethiopia and Tanzania. They revealed hominid feature which has evolved 3 to 4 million years ago. Clear? 2 million years ago, Australopithecus. Probably they lived in the East African grassland. They hunted with the help of stone weapon, essentially ate fruit. Clear? This creature was the first human-like and was called Homo habilis. So which was the first human-like? Homo habilis. From here onwards, you have to study the brain capacity. The brain capacity of Homo habilis is 650 to 800 cc. Okay, 650 to 800 cc in Homo habilis. In Homo habilis, which was human-like evolved organism, 650 to 800 cc was the brain capacity. They probably did not eat meat, and the fossils leads to the formation of the next, that is Homo erectus, which evolved 1.5 million years ago. 1.5 million years ago. Homo erectus had a large brain capacity, about 900 cc. I would give you a clear idea about this as a single table I would tell you. Okay, single table I would tell you. Clear? So next, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and finally Neanderthal man with a brain capacity of 1400 cc. Finally, Homo sapiens having a brain capacity. Okay, clear everyone? Clear? Clear? That marks the end of the session, but I would like to, as I've promised you, I'll be telling you a quick recap of the final topic. That is, guys, the first is the Dryopithecus. After Dryopithecus, Australopithecus. I'm not writing the full. After Dryopithecus, it is a Ramapithecus. Okay. Ramapithecus. After Ramapithecus, it is Australopithecus. Australopithecus. Homo habilis. Homo habilis. Homo erectus. Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and Neanderthal man, and finally Homo sapien. So which is the order? Dryopithecus, Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, that is Neanderthal man, and Homo sapiens. Ramapithecus and Dryopithecus evolved 15 million years ago. 15 million years ago. Australopithecus 2 million years ago. 2 million years ago. Homo erectus. Okay. Okay. So Homo erectus 1.5 million years ago. 1.5 million years ago. Neanderthal man 1 lakh to 4 lakh years ago. Okay, 1 lakh to 40,000. 1 lakh to 40,000 years ago. Clear? So next point which I have to tell you is Dryopithecus were more ape-like, whereas Ramapithecus were more man-like. Oh my god, man-like. Australopithecus lived in East African grassland. They used stone weapons. Homo habilis, the brain capacity is cranial capacity 650 to 800 cc. First human-like. They did not eat meat. Okay. Homo erectus, the brain capacity 900 cc. They eat meat. Java man. Neanderthal man 1400 cc. And the agriculture and all were put forth by the Homo sapiens. So that marks the end of the super amazing one-shot session. I hope the lesson was absolutely fine. and clear for everybody the term evolution. Since you have requested for this session, I taught it. Whenever if I keep on scheduling it, I won't be able to take the class. That's the reason when I got the time, I just scheduled a rapid live and I just taught it. Okay, I hope the chapter is completed. Yes, it's my time to go. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you, everybody. Do this, and if it's possible, I'll inform you in the group. I have already posted a video regarding if your syllabus is incomplete, what is the next step that you have to do if your syllabus is still incomplete for NEET 2021. Yes, I have told you already in sharp at 6 a.m. I have posted the video regarding the same. And if it's possible today at 8:30 p.m. night, I would make a small mission MBBS regarding this particular evolution chapter. Yes, everyone. So bye-bye, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.